Today on the Bass Channel, we're taking a look at the Big Muff 2 from JHS and, of course, Electro-Harmonix. Okay, now, before we jump in too much to the pedal and the details therein, I've been experimenting with our signal chain, and I'm gonna probably be doing this moving forward, but for the moment, let's break down the new stuff that you see in the signal flow. First of all, as per usual, these are a plethora of pre-recorded direct samples that are being fed from the Radial JD7, but instead of going directly into the pedal, we're going directly into the dark glass anagram and feeding the pedal through the effects loop. And I'm doing this for two reasons. The first of which is that this pedal, along with a few other different types of dirt pedals, are not always made with bass guitar in mind. They're usually a guitar pedal first, and if you get lucky, it also works well on bass. Now, this one happens to also work well on bass. There is a lot of low end on tap that we're gonna cover later, but I wanted to set up a new standard to where in the event that maybe this didn't take bass well, or another pedal down the line won't take bass well, I wanted to be able to use the anagram to be able to blend in some clean tone in the event that some kind of pedal doesn't have a lot of low end. And reason number two, I don't know if we're there yet. I'm still kind of experimenting, but I want to get a regular amp backline for all of these kind of pedals. So whether that becomes an Ampeg SVT, a GK Fusion, or a Legacy 800, it might be something that's already built into the anagram, or it might be something that I have to make a neural amp model profile of myself. I'm still kind of working out those kinks. We're currently sitting at the end of 2025, and my goal is that by the beginning of 26, the anagram will be dialed in such a way that everything outside of the pedal of the day is going to be the same backline to, again, further the consistency. If you're jumping from this video to that video to compare this one to the next one, all of the backline and that sort of thing remains consistent. If you've been with us for, well, since the beginning, you'll know that that was kind of the original goal with the Ampeg Rocket Bass B100R and the Shure Beta 52. But as you've seen, things change, people move, gear becomes lost or damaged, or there's many reasons why things change, but hopefully having all of that stuff inside of a digital box, basically, can help prevent some of those things in the future. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, back onto the Big Muff 2. This is a, well, Big Muff Pi 2. There's a bunch of different Big Muffs, and this one has the Pi emblem. And right on the front, it says dual op amp. I've also got the paperwork right here. Now, generally speaking, I usually read the website or the paperwork or what have you, but sometimes I paraphrase it or, you know, try to make it sound a little more natural. This time, this is so well written, I'm just gonna straight read it over some B-roll. And you'll see why in just a second. For 50 years, a forgotten schematic sat buried in dust and time. A concept waiting to be born. Now its moment has come. The EHX Big Muff 2, using 2 dual op amps, is here and delivers a completely new Big Muff voice unlike anything you've heard before. Where the original Big Muff delivers that iconic sweet violin sustain, the Big Muff 2 approach pushes into more aggressive cutting territory. It's the Big Muff DNA with a sharper edge, more volume, and the most pronounced low end and mid-range of any EHX Big Muff ever. It expresses Bob Meyer's vision of aggressive sustain and cutting presence, with the familiar Big Muff control layout you know and love. It's the sound of what almost was. Okay, so as you can see, I kind of had to do that. Putting aside the silly voice, let's go back to the manual to just touch on what the knobs do. It is pretty straightforward. Volume, tone, sustain, as you've come to find on almost any regular kind of Big Muff, you know, not the deluxe ones, but the more standard kind of Big Muffs. But in the name of being thorough, volume, of course, controls the output volume, where left is less and right is more. Sustain controls the amount of fuzz, which increases the sustain when turned up. Left is less, and again, right is more. Controls the overall tone, where left is darker and right is brighter. This pedal takes your normal center negative 9-volt DC power supply and has an 18 milliamp draw, so really not a lot of power draw. Like most fuzz and overdrive and distortion pedals that are analog, usually not a lot of power draw in these. Okay, so that's the read, those are the controls, but my experience with this pedal, upon plugging it in, is it's absolutely, definitely, no question, Big Muff, right? Now, there is some differences into the voice. I noticed, just based on my ear, again, I don't know a lot of the technical terms, but it does sound like there's a lot more gain on tap, in which it's like really pushing the fuzz hard. Now, that also might be because there is a lot of low end in this pedal. Maybe the low end is hitting the fuzz, and it really sounds like it's just a huge fuzz. It's not super smooth like some other kind of silicon fuzzes are, but it's not sputtery and I mean, you heard it. I think you know what I'm trying to say. But aside from that, I did find that it's much darker than the regular, you know, this size Big Muff Pi that you can run out to your local music store and probably grab right now. We all know the one. I put these side by side with the knobs at the o'clock positions that I tend to prefer, which is volume, obviously to taste. I think we had ours around 1 o'clock. The tone was in the neighborhood of 2 o'clock, and the sustain was in the neighborhood of 10 o'clock. So roughly that setting is kind of my starting point on a Big Muff of it's usually what I like, and then you kind of adjust to taste or adjust to the song or the tone or what have you. So in this AB example, I set this one and the standard Big Muff Pi, big box, you know the one, you love the one, to identical knob settings and played them AB so you can hear the differences. Now, as you probably noticed, while this one's volume is at approximately 1 o'clock, the other one's volume was significantly higher, and that was to match the volume. So clearly this one has a lot more volume on tap, where the other one needs to be raised higher to compensate. Outside of that, it was probably also very apparent that this one is significantly darker, whereas the original regular one is not only a lot brighter, but kind of felt a little smoother to my ears. Now again, I don't know exactly if that's the right terminology to use, and it didn't help that I had been listening to this one for the last hour, so when I plugged the old one in, it was kind of a refreshing, sort of familiar, but refreshing different kind of sound. I thought, ooh, I liked that. Then I took some time away and I listened to them back and forth. Now I'm at the point where it's like, I don't know if I necessarily like one better. There's some times that my ear wants brighter and more definition and more cutting fuzz, but there's times that my ear wants darker, woollier kind of fuzz. Again, there's so many synonyms and buzzwords that you can use to describe fuzz pedals and Big Muffs in general, because there's only like 50 different variations of them now. But all of the buzzwords that you've kind of come to associate with the term op amp, I would say is present here. So again, it's difficult to say that the Big Muff 2 is way better than the Big Muff 1 or vice versa. It's not really easy to say the Big Muff 1 is better than the Big Muff 2. I think they're just two separate flavors that serve two separate needs. And I definitely think this one is worth checking out because there's a pretty good chance that it might fit your specific need. Retains low end quite well, and it's a little bit darker than the original, which right off the bat, those words are going to tell you, ooh, I want that for bass. So definitely don't be shy. I mean, check it out. See if the price works for you, of course. I don't know if these are limited or not. I don't know. Check out jhspedals.com. or maybe even Electro-Harmonix, or maybe even your favorite music retailer. It'd help us if you go to zZounds, but no pressure. I don't think these are limited, so yeah, just check one out. It'll probably work for you. If not, like I said, there's like 50 other Big Muffs for you to try. You're bound to find something that you like in one of them. And outside of the tone, I mean, it is pretty cool that this is a 50-year-old circuit that almost never saw the light of day, so it's kind of feels like we're living in a parallel universe in a way. But either way, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you hated it, give it a dislike. You can subscribe, you can unsubscribe, you can leave a comment letting you know what you thought about this pedal. I stuttered there for some weird reason. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought about this pedal. That was much smoother. So until next time, I think that's all about I have to say. I can't talk today, and I will see you later.